Okay, thank you. All right, good afternoon, everyone. And my name is Xinchuan Liu. I'm an assistant professor from the Department of Applied Engineering Technology at Virginia State University. And my colleague, Dr. Peng Cheng, and he's also in the same department and Virginia State University. And will present their student performance in the virtual teaching on the engineering graphics today. The virtual teaching or online teaching or remote teaching is not a new concept. It is start from the last centuries. And before the pandemic, COVID-19 pandemic, almost all the universities and the college still already have this capability to achieve to carry out the online course. We have some online trainings. We also some of the university already have some of the part of the online course, but not all the university and put all the course to the online. Well, in the COVID-19 pushed almost all the universities and the colleges translate their course, all the course to the online during the pandemic. So that gave us a good opportunity to observe the traditional, the face-to-face teaching and the virtual teaching. We have the big question is virtual teaching equal or better than the face-to-face teaching? Many of the students, many of the parents and the instructors always ask me this question. I said, I don't know this. So during and before the pandemic and after the pandemic, during this time, we have these opportunities to do a research even and to compare them. Okay, in the Virginia State universities, in the fall from the semester 2019, it is a traditional face-to-face mode. And in the spring 2020, before the midterm with face-to-face and then move to the virtual. And later, in the fall 2020, we have the virtual mode. And the spring 2021, we carry out the half-flex mode. Okay. So we have the different the teaching mode give us the detailed the opportunity to compare and observe the performance in the different teaching mode. So generally, the face-to-face have the advantages. I'm sorry, it's not face-to-face. It is virtual, that's right. Generally, the advantage of the virtual teaching is flexible accessibility. The student can access the class at anywhere, anytime. And the virtual teaching partially elevate the financial burden of the students, especially for the HBCU students. Okay, so the student can save some cost for their housing and for their food. Okay. And some of our students, they have to have the part-time work, so it gives them the more options to access their course. And the immediate feedback and plenty of resource and safe in pandemic is another benefit from the virtual teaching. Well, virtual teaching has advantages is it's hard to deliver the hands-on experience. So I think that we already have this discussed before, right? And we have the problem is less classroom control, classroom manage the student at other end, and it's hard to to monitor and control student behaviors. And the student easy to be distracted from the environment. This is the disadvantages. So I myself and Dr. Peng Cheng, we teach the course is engineering graphics. Engineering graphics is a core course for almost all the engineering programs. Okay, so this course is somehow difficult, somehow special because we already teach some of the theory and the principle, and we also teach students some of the experience in the drawings. So this one we both have the theory and the theory experience and the hands-on experience. Based on our observation, we find there is benefit for the virtual teaching on the engineering graphics is similar, flexible accessibilities, reduce financial cost, and we can have the remote tutorials, and we also have the effective measurement and the synchronous discussion with their classmates. We first talked about the remote tutorial, because the student we can help students from online by their Zoom. Okay, students have their questions, and even we teach them step by step for the drawings. This is very helpful for the student. And students can discuss with a classmate. They can help each other and ask questions and to answer some of the different questions. Okay. Well, some difficult or some challenge in the virtual classroom for the engineering graphics still exist. The challenges from the teaching side, from our instructors, for technical technique challenges, for example, we have the small displays because we have used the different, at least the two softwares together at the same time. We use the software to make drawings. We use a software, for example, the Blackboard, to show the class the content. Okay, so the one small display may not satisfy this requirement. And if you have the speaker with a poor quality and a camera with low resolution, may cause students difficult to understand your teaching. And also unstable internet connection will cause distraction during the course. But this technical challenge can be solved relatively easily because, for the small display, you can use the two displays, right? And you can change the speakers and change your cameras. And also you can change your internet program, right? We can solve these challenges for an instructor. Okay. But difficult for the class management is somehow, for example, no eye contact with student, right? My student they don't like to open the cameras, okay? And you cannot give them a guide from the eye contact or give them some indicate something. And in the virtual classroom, we seldom use the body language because the camera, right? We use a camera, so the body language we don't use this. Okay, so sometimes you use the body language, you can show something, some concept. It's easy, but now it's become somehow difficult. You have to use the words, lots of words to describe something. And we don't have enough communication with a student. The student write emails and answer emails and chat, typing. It's somehow difficult, right? And the difficult class management and you need extra time to help students online. I mean, after the class time. Okay, this is the challenge from the management. The challenge from the student side, the technical challenge is similar to the student. The small display, the poor quality of your the speakers, the thing. But for student side, the technical challenge may not be solved easily, especially for our ECU students. They don't like, they have only one computer, so they may not easy to have another display, and they don't like to cost money to change their camera or change their speakers, and even some students don't want to use a mouse. In our engineering graphics course, the mouse is important. It's easy to operate, but students just like use the touch screen, and they want to use the touchpad. So that's not easy to use, but students don't want to pay the money to update their equipment. But this is, we can, in USU, we can somehow partially solve this problem. The VSU provides $500 for student as a technical fee, technical stipend. So some students can solve this problem partially. And the most, I mean, the challenge for the student is their self-management. This one is very hard and not easy to solve. For example, the absent, late, disturbance from environment, and the stress and the loss of motivation and interest in social issues. These things exist and is somehow hard, and even this one will seriously affect the student performance in the class. Okay, in this project, we will study the two cases to show the student performance. The first case is this one. Okay, this class practice. This class practice will be held just after the midterm exam. In the first half of the semester, students already learned the basic principle and of the graphics. For example, the 3D model and some of the graphics principles. For example, the class series, the dimensioning, and the sectioning, these things. Okay, so after midterm, the first class practice is we require the student to read this blueprint. I don't give the 3D model, just ask the student to read the blueprint and build the 3D model in their mind. When they build this 3D model first in the mind, and then use a software to build a 3D model, and later create the 2D detailed drawings and add the dimensions. Just follow this example. Okay, so this is a requirement, and we have the full semester with the different teaching mode. Okay, and the students, the number is different. So we find the interesting thing is the average, the score in the face-to-face in this semester is 70, and the other semester we have the total virtual or HyFlex. Their score is pretty high than the traditional face-to-face. And student whose score is over 80 points, this number is also much higher than the number in the face-to-face. It seems indicate that student in the virtual teaching is the performance much better. Well, we show this scores distribution set. You can find the score distribution in the face-to-face in this semester, this distribution is normal, the doorbell shape. But in the other semester with the virtual teaching mode, the curve is skewed. It's not a normal distribution. That means some factor affected this behavior, affected this data, right? It may be something. We should find something make this curve skewed. Okay, the case 2 is this one. Case 2 is the homework. Okay, at the end of the semester. At the end of semester, student already learned almost all the principle of the engineering graphics, and already practiced in one semester. So they should know everything, and they should know the other experience in this class. Okay, so we require students to build the 3D models for each single parts, and create the 2D detail drawings for each part, and build the 3D assembly model, assemble them together, and then create a 2D assembly drawing. So this is a homework, this assignment, which include all the technologies and experience in this course, comprehensive assignment. Okay, we still have the data for the 4 different semester with different teaching mode, and this result is different from the case 1. Okay, so in this case 2, the traditional method has much higher the average point than the other semesters. It's very obviously right than the other semester. But in our case 1, this one is much lower than the other semesters. That's very interesting. And then let's examine the data distribution. In the face-to-face, the data distribution is roughly a normal distribution. And the other 3 semesters, the data is skewed also. Okay, that means at least this virtual or the pandemic affect the data distribution. So our analysis is like this. Okay, we believe the factors affected the engineering buildings in the virtual model. The pandemic plays a critical role, especially in the first pandemic semester, spring 2020. Okay, in this semester, the pandemic plays a critical role. We don't have the fully prepared, and we suddenly transition to the virtual. So student, even the faculty, may not adapt to the virtual teaching environment. And another factor is a technical requirement affected the learning experience. Okay, this means we talk about this the hardware, for example, the computers, your connections, and your displays, these things. The online mentoring is much more complicated than the traditional mode. Okay. the online mentoring for this course, I said the engineering graphics is a special. We deliver the theoretical technology knowledges, and we also deliver the hands-on experience. So, but in the online teaching mode, somehow difficult, okay, complicated. And due to the lack of the direct control from instructors in the online class, so each student face a self-management challenge. Okay, we cannot monitor or we cannot manage the students' behavior in the class time. For example, some students, they're just lying in their bed and they just listen your lecture. Okay, some students they just open your computer and then sleep. For example, something like this. It's somehow hard. So we believe in the virtual teaching environment, students' self-management is very important. It will directly affect the student's behavior. Even in this course, even students did well in the drawing of parts, like case 1. Some students will still have difficulty in assembly by assembly drawings. This is our case 2 is a comprehensive comprehensive practice. So students they have good in the drawing the part, that they still need the practice, the training, or the thinking on the comprehensive, the assembly, the project, something like this. Okay, so our conclusion now, our first question, is virtual teaching equal or better than face-to-face teaching? My answer is, I still don't know. Okay, I cannot say the virtual teaching is better or the face-to-face teaching is better. But we can find, based on our observation and based on our study, we find in the virtual teaching mode, students can be divided to 2 types. The first type, students who adapt to the online environment. This student can utilize the resource of the online environment. For example, they know how to replay the video of the class, and they can follow the video. And they know how to use the library, online library, and they know how to search the external information in the website. Okay, and this student can practice their assignment, their homework, anywhere, anytime. Okay, because we use the cloud-based software, so student can access our software at anywhere. This is much easier than student in campus. In campus, students have to go to the classroom to use the computer and software. But now, student can practice at any time, anywhere. It is good for students. So, if students who adapt to the online environment, this student perform much well online, even better than the face-to-face mode. Another type of student, they don't know how to use this online resource. And then the lack of the self-management capability. So they give up. The students, they gave up on the online class. Okay. So they will withdraw, or they will incomplete, and they failed this course. So that's why our data is skewed. Just like this, our data is skewed. Students concentrate on sum the category like this. Okay, this is our conclusion. This answer is we cannot say it is if virtual or the face-to-face, which one is better, but it's depend on the student who has a self-control the capability. Okay, that's our presentation. Thank you for listening. Any question?